100k Sports and PointsBet presents the Sunday Roast.
Welcome back to the Sunday Roast, the show that celebrates the winners and roasts the losers, the show that gives you all the best odds at the bet you weren't on but wish you were. It is the round 15 edition, brought to you by PointsBet. Joining me as always, Jev and Dobe. How are you, brother?
Jev, I'm fantastic. I'm good. I'm ready to go on a Sunday. The only bad thing about this round is Carlton. Again, we are so disappointing. I actually can't wait to get into that game. It's been a bit of a funny round. So we kick off with Thursday night and it's an 8-10 game. So if you're working on Friday, no one watches the end of it. I'm not working at the moment, so I stayed up and watched the whole thing. Wasn't quite the barn burner. Then the next night, we're really hoping for the barn burner. And Brisbane just gave him a little bit of belt to ask. So this round has just been a little bit, hasn't been there. I think the Saints and the Pies has probably been the best game so far. We're hoping that we get some more competitive football today. The expansion team cup's going to be awesome. Obviously, by the time you guys listen to this, that game will be done. But at this point in time, really excited for that game. So can't wait to get into it, Jev. But Thursday night, I'm not sure how much of this game you actually watched, but Freo, Essendon, I can't believe, by the way, the ground actually held up. Who the fuck has a Sunday Arvo game for Carlton West Coast? Then you have Origin on a Wednesday night, which obviously we didn't watch because we were asleep. And then you got Freo and Essendon. So congratulations that they actually got the ground up and running. But yeah, that's a weird scheduling.
It's the second Thursday night game in Perth of the year. The other one was Collingwood Freo, and they played the night after Origin. What the hell did they think? Was the thought behind it like all the crowd of like the Queensland and New South Wales crowd in town? Let's get them to come to the thing. I don't know, but that was the worst scheduling. But yeah, you're right. The ground had up. Das, I got a new job. I get up early. I got to go to work. I didn't make it past halftime in this game. I was fucking buggered. I had to watch the highlights the next day. So I'm going to lean on you. I watched the first half. The Bombers were good in the first half. Freo were okay. It was a good game. And then Freo kicked away and won easy. Won by 41 points. So I'm going to lean on you a bit. Talk to me.
Yeah, this is as we said, the first half of the year we weren't really seeing the Freo that we expected, and then we saw it in such a big flash where they just got it over and done with so quickly. Like they just had a spell, and it's just goals, 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 goals. Everything that they were touching was going forward. I was saying at the start of the game, it was I just find it unbelievable. Like no matter how much time Darcy Parish stays out of the game, he's still such a good center clearance player. He's just one of those players, the ball just goes in his hands. But if you're an Essendon forward, like surely you've just got to be playing front position for that dump kick forward. Like there's very rarely, or maybe 2 or 3 times in a game, you get a clean as a whistle clearance and you're actually running into your forward line, like shoulders out, and you can actually hit up a target. Most of the time, you've got half a second, you've got someone hanging off you. It's a dump kick forward. And the amount of time that Essendon forwards were behind, Luke Ryan was able to pick it off. Clark was able to chip some guys off. So they just weren't able to get that forward as much. But yeah, around the ground, after Darcy Parish got a few clearances early, they just dominated. They put him out on the wing for a little bit. I'm not sure what the go was there, but Sarong, Brayshaw, all the boys were pushing forward. Paddy Voss, you knew he was there with a vendetta against the side that cut him. What do they call him? The prancing pony. So apparently his highest GPS is when after he kicks a goal. Like that's actually his rated. So he was running around chest out. This is just a game that Freo had to win. They've got to keep winning these games. They've got a few at home now, so they really want to just put the foot down. But yeah, just an impressive win by Freo. They get it done again. I'm sure after that scare from North Melbourne, you can tell they definitely came, all right, let's get this one to bed. Let's not let them creep back in. Let's not let the momentum of the game try and creep over the top of us. So yeah, they just handled business. Sarong was awesome. He's having a fucking awesome year. Now, I heard them say, so they won 12 games last year and he got 28 Brownlow votes. And then the year before, I think they won 10 games and he got 24 Brownlow votes. So like if he gets upwards of
14 wins,
because when I think about it, Brayshaw will probably only steal a couple of threes. He'll probably still take the pack of it. So I want to try and go back, or maybe we lean on the Shark. I'm actually seeing the Shark today, by the way, everyone.
Get the Brownlow update.
And just see what he thinks Sarong's at, because I'm not sure what the price point is at the moment. We can double check, but that actually might be a really good one to check into it. But they were all over him. Nate Caddy showed some really good signs. Nice big run down the wing. Yeah, but they just weren't good enough. They just don't have the cattle. Also, how right were we about Luke Jackson?
Yes.
I know that we
That
said
was a
that
layup.
we thought Goldstein was going to get microwaved by him, but he didn't make the trip over. Vizentini, I think his name was. He tried. He had a go.
He had a crack. The tackle he laid to hurt himself was a fucking good tackle. That was a big tackle by the big fella. This was a layup. Laddering Luke Jackson was the easiest money. On the 100K show, I said, take Luke Jackson for 2, Sean Darcy for 1. Sean Darcy was a laid out, so Luke Jackson kicks 3 as a ruckman. Probably best on ground. Darcy, let's have the Caleb Sarong conversation. We need to have this conversation. I'm basically going to have the exact same conversation Kane and Kingy had. Would you rate Caleb Sarong? So this is your personal opinion. What bracket would you have him in? 1 to 5, like best players in the comp. 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, or 16 to 20. Where do you have Caleb Sarong? Just off the top of your head. 2 and 35 on the weekend.
What were the bracket? What was the first bracket?
1 to 5. 1st to 5th best player in the league. 6th to 10th, 11th to 15th, or 16 to 20th.
Player or midfielder?
Player. Go player first, midfielder second.
So player, I'd probably go, he can play within the first 5, but if I'm ranking them, yeah, he's right on there. I remember when we did our midfielders, our players at the start, I have him in the top 10. I have him as a top 10 player. So you could probably have him on the cusp from 5 outwards. And then as midfielders, the way that he's been playing this year, I'd have him up towards the top.
Yep.
I love him. I love the way he plays. I just think he's so tough in the contest, and he just tries. He just tries his ass off. And I definitely think the way that he's been trying to kick inboards a lot more as well, been trying to come inside. But his attack on the ball, he's not quite as fast at the contest as Butters, but he still does try and crack in, and he tries to ignite. And that's what's like, I know we're going to dip on Carlton later, but like, He's having a crack. There's so many guys on the outside that don't have a fucking go, and you can tell he cares. And even if he fucks up, it's like, it's not out of lack of not trying. Like he's trying to do what he can for the team. So I really appreciate like that side of his game as well. But I rate him super highly, and I love that if he keeps hitting the scoreboard, it's just going to keep going. Remember, we always say goals for a midfielder. It's just an exclamation mark on their game.
Right. So I'm probably more in I think he's a gun. I say he's overrated. I think he's a gun. I'm more in the 13 to 20 range. I think he beats up on shit teams. The amount of Ross Glendenning medals he's got because he beats the worst team in the comp, the Eagles, and everyone's like, how good's Sarong? I need him to play what he did on the weekend in a final. He needs to have 2 and 35 in a final. Isaac Heaney did it. If you want to be talked about like Dacos and Heaney and stuff, do it in a final. I reckon he plays his worst game of the year in the biggest games of the year every year. So he needs to play this sort of game in a big game and not beating up on a shit team. That's all I want from Sarong. I'm sick of, as I said last year, they needed to win once in the last 4 weeks, and he went to water. He went from averaging 30 touches to 22 touches. So, like, we all love him when he's pumping the shit teams at home on a Thursday night. Everyone's like, how good is he? I just want to see it against the best teams in a big game that means points. So that's all I want. Maybe there'll be a game this year that gets him a chance to lock top 4 up or something. Or, you know, like they're playing Gold Coast, and it's to lock up top 4, something like that. And that's when I want to see him have 32 and 1. Anyway,
yeah,
you got some odds for us.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from that. And I'm like, I guarantee that him and Brayshaw and that group know that. They're like, we can play good footy, but we haven't played big in a good game. So they obviously really trying as best they can to get a top 4 spot so then they can actually show up.
I know we try not to talk about NFL too much. It's the Lamar Jackson conversation. Lamar Jackson always plays his worst game of the year in the playoffs. He could be a 4-time MVP, but he always lays the biggest egg in the playoffs. And that's what I think of Caleb Sarong. I think there's players better than him. I think he's, as a midfielder, he's probably in that 5 to 10. As a player in the competition, he's probably 13 to 20. Can he have his best game of the year in the finals, like the best do? That's all I want to see. You want to roast the Bombers at all? They're just so depleted. But
yeah, Nick Martin's honestly, I think that like they had a little go at times, but with their list, they've got so many out. So I'm not gonna rip into them too much. Like I just think they got done by, like, when I look at both sides, that's where I think that they're both at. I think Freo are that much better than them.
Watching Brisbane, watching Brisbane, we'll talk about this in a minute, but we always talk about Brisbane put about 9 competent midfielders on the park, and they've lost Joe Danaher, they lost Jackson Payne. It's like, it doesn't matter. Like, our mids are going to get it done tonight, and so we can protect our backline, and then Harris Andrews dominated, and Logan Morris is enough. Looking at Essendon's list, it looks like they're going to do something similar, where it's going to be, they've got Merritt, Martin, Caldwell, Parrish. They put so many on the field. Like, Setterfield can chop you out. They like their guys that play. And then it's like, we're going to have Nate Caddy, and hopefully it's Ben Mackay or it's Jordan Ridley when he's fit and stuff. And so they're going to go the more Brisbane model. Maybe that's why they matched up with Brisbane so well a couple of weeks ago. So it is tough for them right now. And yeah, Freo's list is great. We knew this. We knew all this. We knew this was going to happen. Darcy, you got some odds for us?
Yeah, so Tracy for 3 was $2.20. Jackson for 3 was $11. Bolton for $2, $1.90. So that's pretty short. Frederick for 2 was $2.50. Archer May for 2 was $5.25. Sarong for 2 was $10.50, which is awesome for a midfield, but as I said, doesn't usually happen. Lual kicked 2, which was $20. Bit of a swingman,
Nice.
Jev. I like him. I like how he moves. He looks like a
So
good
do
player.
I. So do
He
I.
looks really good, doesn't he? Sarong for 35 was $3.40. Clark for 30 was $5.75. Caldwell for 30 was $3.40. Luke Ryan, we did mention this because he had 30 in this game last year.
Yes.
He had 30 again, which was $15. Parrish for 30 was $2.90. And Archie Roberts, he just finds the footy, Jev, 25 touches at $2.15.
Love it. Love it. Let's go to Friday night. Danger's 350th. The Lions came and Chris Fagan coached the Jocks off of Chris Scott. It was impressive to watch. I loved your take on this. We were talking about this yesterday. So you go from here. Just hear about how the Lions boys just came out with smiles on their face and they just embraced the moment. Talk to us.
Yeah, it really looked like the whole week. We know Geelong, like, they don't get micromanaged, and it just seemed like that they were really lapping up Danger's 350th, the wide out. Everyone's kind of like Bailey Smith, like they've just beaten the Bombers by like 95 points. They come out, all right, here we go, the Dash brothers, and they just look relaxed. And you look at Brisbane come out, and they genuinely look like a side that got ran over the week before. And they're like, boys, we're not going to let this happen again. Like, we can't let this happen again. We can't let these guys get their hands on it early. And Brisbane came out and punched him in the mouth.
Yeah.
And they just put 5 on him. And then Geelong kept missing. And then all of a sudden, there's your scoreboard pressure. And then they locked it up in the middle. They made everything so dirty. Like, there was no, it was almost like that was Brisbane's home game where, like, they played that field perfectly.
Yeah.
Usually Geelong are so good at cutting inboard. They cut off the inboard every time. They made it so hard. They got so many turnovers. And then as soon as they put the scoreboard pressure on, Geelong, like, we can't fucking move the ball.
Yeah.
And then Danger, where he'd go back and have his usual set shots, is playing on. And then everyone looks like that they're just fucking, they've just lost it. And then they were just behind. And it was so fucking good to say, sorry to say, and me and you were talking about this. It's like, say you got like Neil, Dunkley, Ashcroft and McCluggage. They're 4 absolute stars at what they do. They're all a little bit different, but they're absolute stars. And you don't have to have all 4 firing on a night. You don't. So, like, McCluggage wasn't at his best. They said Lockie Neal maybe did his calf or was a little bit sore. So, Dunkley went out there and just stood on their best player and then also got like 30 of his own. And then Ashcroft just did his thing. So, you just have the other 2 guys because you still have to put attention into Neal and McCluggage as well because McCluggage has been playing lights out. The defense, their team defense was awesome. That nothing was easy. Everything came in. Everyone was helping each other. And then just the way that they moved the ball and their attack on the ball, the amount of numbers when there was a loose ball out, like, Atkins was trying to get the ball and there's 2 or 3 on him.
Yeah.
And then they're just running. Cam Rayner, and this is why I say he's the most frustrating player in the AFL.
He was awesome.
Because he plays like this and you're like, where the fuck is this every week? Because he's unbelievable to watch.
Yeah.
He's so good to watch. He's got all the tricks. He can sit on your head. He can run back towards goal.
Break tackles, burst out of a stoppage, kicks goals from everywhere. Like, he's like the perfect footballer. He's like Jordan De Goey when De Goey's firing, but geez, he has some bad weeks as well.
Well, he just has some quiet as weeks. So, yeah, this game was fantastic. Will Ashcroft, that's what I said. You can put him wherever you think the best midfielder is. Will Ashcroft has every single trick. He's got it all. His hands in tight, over the top, but it's not cute stuff. Like, he actually has someone there. He knows. Like, he's
a star.
I couldn't rate him any higher. I just thought it was a great team game. Zach Bailey, so he hasn't hit the scoreboard as much this year. He's definitely played more
On the
defend
wing
or like
sort of
more
thing,
down the
yeah.
ground. But I think that that's perfect for them because sometimes you get lost as a small forward. Like you look at Charlie Cameron this year. I know he hasn't been finishing, but then when you're not getting the ball, the pressure comes on. Zach Bailey, he's so explosive and his kicking is a feature. Like, and he can move. He's got some wheels. So I just think they've definitely maximized that as well. And if you're a halfback, what would you want? Either Zach Bailey just sitting behind the ball and you can just play an arm on him, or he gets up the ground and makes you work and then stretches the field for the guys down forward, creates more space for Logan Morris, which you'll get into. But this is just a fucking awesome game. Everyone was saying Brisbane are out on their legs. Like, I'm not sure about them. And then they just come back and do another performance like this. So this was a fucking great win. Even as Chris Fagan said, he's like, if we lose this, we're back in the pack. Like, you're back in the 6 to 10, and now you're right back in the thick of it up the top.
I've got like 10 things to say here. So Charlie Cameron, he must have been watching some tape during the week and for most of his year and looked at it and just been like, bruh, I'm just fucking standing there. Like, I'm doing nothing to impact games. See him get up the ground a bit more. I watched him lay a tackle in the back pocket for Brisbane. I'm like, what the hell is Charlie Cameron doing down there? So he playing back pocket. He got up the game. He got himself involved. Tackles, touches, just little stuff, sort of like Cyril Rioli used to do, rather than just standing as a full forward like he does. So that was good to see. They spoke about Kai Lohman and how he lost confidence because of how good he was last year, and then he just kept getting injured trying to reach that. You can finally see it's going to start ticking again. It's going to start ticking. He's just going to go up. We absolutely love Kai Lohman. I'll never forget grand final day. He was sensational. So that's coming. Dust, Logan Morris. We have to talk about Logan Morris. He is everything Jai Amiss, Logan McDonald, and Zane Dersma are supposed to be. He is everything I want them to be. Jai Amiss is the biggest myth in the AFL right now. Logan McDonald, we don't see. He should have been dropped for 2 grand finals. He played in 1. And Zane Dersma, I don't know what he's supposed to be. Logan McDonald is exactly what those guys were drafted for. Logan McDonald was pick 3. Zane Dersma was pick 3. I don't know when. I can't remember when Jai missed. I think he was pick 10 or 11 or something. Logan Morris was pick 31, and he's better than all of them. And he just looks like he's getting better and better. You can tell he's cutting Hungry Jacks out of his diet because now he's starting to he looks like he's still growing, but he's leaning. He's slowly leaning and going up. He's going to be a star. I still don't think he's the Joe Danaher replacement just yet. He's good, but he's going to be a gun. I had one other thing. Oh, just a little roast of Geelong. Watching the way Geelong supporters are speaking about it, Max Holmes and Bailey Smith, I reckon you'll agree with this, remind me of Chad Warner and Isaac Heaney last year when they would turn a 20-point margin into a 70-point margin by just dominating offensive football. But when a side like the Lions come in who play man-on-man, they defend your best, and then they've got midfielders that can go with their best, they're not good enough defenders to be to stop Dunkley and Ashcroft and Neal and stuff. So then they couldn't. That's what happened grand final day. Dunkley went to Heaney. Can't remember who went to Warner. They slowed them down and then just started winning the ball and dominating. I feel the exact same about Bailey Smith and Max Holmes. Yes, when you guys are winning and they're getting the ball going forward, it's art. It's a pleasure to watch. But if a team's going to, just lean on you and start just slowly kicking goals, I don't know if they're the guys, and then I don't know if they've got the guys. Tom Atkins isn't that guy. Brian Myers isn't that guy. Mitch Duncan's not that guy anymore. So that's just one little watch. But another thing is, I wish Brisbane didn't do this at round 15 where Chris Fagan coached the jocks off him because Chris Scott's going to go watch that tape and this is never going to happen again. The way they were cutting through the middle and opening Geelong's zone up sort of thing, they're going to stop this and this will never happen to the Cats again. So it's the Cats will nearly be wrapped with this loss. It's on tape now. It's watch this, boys. This won't happen again in a final and stuff. So, yeah, you got anyone you want to roast? How good's Jez Cameron? When they're in trouble, when the Cats are in trouble and he was just still keeping him involved, he kicked 4 and you're like, this bloke is fucked. And Geelong will be ruined all their missed set shots. Danger couldn't hit the side of a boat. Shannon Neal was missing. Jez was awesome. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't. As I said, it's not like Brisbane will be shattered that they absolutely kick their ass because they know it's going to happen again. Like when you're in the moment and the game's playing, you're just like, fuck it, let's go. And if anything, Brisbane will come in with confidence. Like, guys, we've done it once. Actually, we've done it twice. We did it in the prelim. We did it again.
So it just makes you nervous. If they play again in a prelim, it feels like Geelong will finally get their lick because they've got them the last 2 times.
Well, there was, as you said, with the defensive stuff with Bailey Smith. Like, I still love him. I rate him. I think he's having a fucking awesome year. He was butchering a little bit, but there was 2 times, especially once in the middle, where he just he tried to arm tackle Will Ashcroft, and Will Ashcroft just shook him and turned him and just blind turned out and looked behind him. He's like, see ya. And he was straight out. So you want to see some more body line. And then if Bailey can get involved and the other guys, because it just looks like that if there is a big final, you just put Cam Rayner in there, you put a couple big explosive guys. They were just mixing and matching. But why Logan Morris gets so many good looks as well, he's not just leading from the goal square out. He was up at the half back line at one stage and they got a transition play and he was leading back into their 50 and tick leaded back out and just took a mark. I think that was for number 6. He was going for number 6, but they're just like, he's not just a one-trick pony. So because he's not super big and imposing like a Joe Daniher, he's got to find other avenues towards the ball. But fuck, you're pretty lucky when you got some elite ball kickers where you can kick it to some nice spots.
Do you reckon Chris Fagan goes, Cam Rayner, go to this centre bounce and go test if Max Holmes and Bailey Smith want to lay a tackle. Go see if they're willing to tackle today. Get your hands on the ball. Because Cam Rayner looks at tackles and just keeps his legs moving. He does not care. So he'll just go, Max Holmes, put your arm on Max Holmes, win the ball, and see if he really wants to be tackling today. Because he just walked through them. So that's another ace up Brisbane sleeve. I was ready to say, if they lost this game, I was ready to say it's more likely Brisbane missed the 8 than win the flag, basically. Because just their draw and everything, and then they just did a vintage Brisbane performance. Dane Zorko has a 30. Lockie Neal hasn't quite one, but it doesn't matter. And, they win. And now you're like, come September, who wants to play the Lions? Absolutely no one, especially it's at the Gabba. How many times this happened? So they've lost to the Giants, the Pies. They've lost to like 3 teams at the Gabba. But then they've gone on the road and beaten whoever they've got to beat. They beat Hawthorn at the G. They beat... now they're beating Geelong, and there's another one where they've just rocked up and beaten whoever they got. So they're so good. I got a couple of odds here for you to ask. Logan Morris, he kicked 5 last week. So you think there's a chance he kicks 5. Kicked 5 again, 41-1.
Nice.
$41. Jez Cameron 4 was $3.60. Cam Rayner for 3 was $9. Kai Lohman for 2, $3.30. $3.30 for a small forward to kick 2, whose job is to kick goals, is great. The 3 amigos, Hugh McCluggage was $3.25. Will Ashcroft was $3.25. Levi Ashcroft was $2.85 for 1 goal each. They all kicked 1.
Nice.
Dane Zorko was $3.40 for 30 touches. And Josh Dunkley for 30 touches was $7.
Well done.
And the rest were, everyone knows Bailey Smith's getting 25. Anyway, that was a good game. That felt like a game that meant a lot. Let's get to the main event. North Melbourne beat the Blues by 11 points on the MCG on a Saturday afternoon with a red footy. You can't hide on a Saturday afternoon with a red footy. This is where all the warts come out. Talk to me, Das. Talk to me.
So let's take a trip down memory lane, Jev. So a full calendar year ago, so 12 months ago, the Blues just beat the Cats. We beat them. We kicked 9 goals to 3, or I think 9 goals 3 in the last quarter. And we beat them by 60 points, Jev. 63 points, I think it was, on prime time. And we were 6 points clear on second. Second on the ladder. Swans were first, Blues were second. Yep. And we're just like, have a look at us. Have a look at us. I think we might be the second best team in the comp. I actually think that we might make a push towards finals. The next week, we kicked the first 7 goals against the Giants. And I remember messaging all you boys being like, this is it. We finally have a fucking squad. So in a full year, full 12 months, I saw this. Another Carlton creator said this, so I'm definitely just taking his stats, but I couldn't believe it. In a full calendar year, Jev, we've only won 8 games.
Yep. One
of those sides has been a top 8 side, which was Geelong, which was a couple weeks ago. 4 of those games were from teams ranked 4 or below. So only one other side between 8 and 9. That's it. 8 to 12. We are we're just rat shit. We are so bad. We have so many players. It's like, I didn't think that we would get back to a stage where we're just putting guys out on the park and there's fucking no effort. And look, I haven't been one to say sack Voss because, like, surely there's something there. If you make a prelim a couple years ago, there has to be some sort of, like, good culture in the club. Everyone knows where the direction's going, but we can't even kick. Like, it's just basic fundamentals of guys trying to kick in board. There's so many butchering of the pills. Adam Saad does not defend. He does not defend. He doesn't put an arm on. Like, if it's a one-on-one, him and Paul Curtis, one came in before quarter time yesterday or half time, and you're like, Paul Curtis is just going to mark this. Like, there's not a defensive bone in his body. We do not, hate for swearing, sorry guys, but we have no cunts in the side. We don't. Yeah. We have no one that's going to instigate, that no one that's going to put their head over it and actually, like, get you up and about. Like, I want a Zach Butters so bad. I want someone that just shows a little bit. We are just so weak. We got this young side against us yesterday in North Melbourne that just came out and kicked 7 unanswered, I think, in the second, and then another 6 in the third. Like, there was not one defensive thing. It was fucked. Like, it just does my head. It does, but it doesn't, because I'm so used to seeing it now that I'm just like, I wasn't even angry yesterday. You know what I was actually so happy for all the North fans. I was like, good on them. They get to go to the G and watch their team actually have an awesome win. Like, congratulations. Like, Dan Maloney, all the other North, like Josh Wilson, all the other North guys I know. It's like, how good's that? Like, you actually get to go watch your team put on a good performance. Zerha played really well. McKerch is finally starting to look like a top 10 pick, running through, kicking goals. And we just looked so slow, unfit, can't kick. Guys are just lowering their head, just lowering their colours. And for a team and a supporter base, it's pretty passionate. Like, it's so demoralising rocking up to a game yesterday and you're just, like, expecting a win. And you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, I genuinely don't know what the answer is. I know that guys will definitely be leaving at the end of the year because you got to shake the tree. You can't just keep rolling out this squad and expecting the same thing. So it was disappointing. McGovern was awesome yesterday. He looks like a forward. He tries to get a little bit unselfish sometimes, like, mate, just go back and kick it. But he kicked the 4 goals. But you can't keep wheeling out Jesse Motlop and just expecting this stuff. Like, Fantasia, I know he kicked 2 goals, but where's the pressure around the ground? Cripps has gone to absolute soup. Chera only had 3 touches in the first quarter. George Hewitt, he tries. He really tries, and it's awesome, but he doesn't have enough guys to go with him. It's so demoralising. Like, we just need more out of our bottom, like, 10 players, which we don't have. Durden's not having an impact. Like, Cooper Lord got subbed out. Like, it's just, these guys aren't coming on. I genuinely don't know what the answer is, but we actually need a game plan because I don't know what it is. It's get the ball, kick it long, and hope. And we're just getting absolutely torn up the other way off turnover. Like, absolutely torn up. I think we are the worst, and for the last 25 years, we are the worst team at kicking inside forward 50.
Yeah.
We just kick it long. It's so easy to defend. Other guys like Comben, he had a broken scapula. And he was still picking us off. Like, it was demoralising. Also, shout out Toby Pink. Toby Pink did an awesome job yesterday on Charlie.
He kept him. So, did Carlton go head-to-head in the midfield? Because I'm looking here. Tom Power, 34. Sheasel, 30-1. LDU, 30. McKercher, 29-2. Luke Parker's had 28. Did they just go, right, we'll go Hewitt, Doherty, Cher, and Cripps versus Power, Sheasel, LDU, McKercher, Parker, and they just got a bath? Because I saw Vossi eyeball in the midfield and giving some sprays. What do you reckon Vossi was saying? Were they not working back? Were they arm tackling? Like, what do you reckon he was saying?
So you could see the zoom in and he's pointing out someone, he's asking him a question, waiting for an answer back, and then he was saying to him, do your fucking role.
Yes, I did see that.
Do your role. And then, like, Cripper's just standing there. But how, if you're a professional athlete, it's like, just get up for the game. So the only one that I think head-to-head was George Hewitt and Davey Junior. They were pretty much head-to-head, and they were both, like, which they almost had identical games.
Yeah, shake hands at the end of the game, yeah.
They almost had identical games as well, which is pretty cool to watch. But everyone else was just so pedestrian. No pace. We need some speed and we need some cunt. That's what we need. It's
Yeah.
it's like an 18-year-old on a night out, Jev. That's what we need. Some speed and some cunt. That's
That is such a good call. Fucking hell. Das, I want to tell a little story that we have sourced about the most selfish player in the AFL in the whole competition. I want to tell a little story about Charlie Curnow and why he's the most selfish player in the AFL. Last year, Carlton. So I've
Carlton
got it
Hawks.
here. Yeah, I've got it here. So, as you said, you beat Richmond, lost to the Giants, the Dogs, you beat North, lost to Port and Collingwood. So you've lost 4 of your last 5. You're playing Hawthorn on the MCG on a Sunday arvo. Charlie Curnow's injured. He's coming into the game sore. He was told to rest. You had your spot in the top 8 locked. He was told to rest. He picked himself because he wanted to win his 3rd Coleman in a row. He said, nah, I'm playing. I'm trying to win my 3rd Coleman in a row. Pick me. Against the Hawks, you lose by 74 points. He lasts about a quarter. He gets injured. He hurts his ankle. You never see him again for the rest of the year. He doesn't play one game for the rest of the year. Next week, you beat West Coast, but you lost the last 2 games. You just make the finals. He doesn't play once in the finals. He's too injured, and he didn't win that 3rd Coleman. He cost Carlton their season. And I know, you know, we all know, Carlton players in the building were fucking filthy. He picked himself to choose his 3rd Coleman over team success when he could have just rested out the year and he still would have made finals. He could have been fit come finals time. And then now this year, either the Carlton players don't like him, he didn't rock up to training fit enough, or I don't know, but he is shit out. He's a myth at the moment. What has happened to him? He plays 20 minutes at a time. He doesn't look fit enough to play 4 quarters. I don't know if he's mates with anyone at Carlton anymore. What the hell has happened to Charlie Curnow?
It has been a very disappointing year because his best is his last 2 years when he was winning the Colemans. It's rock up and kick 4 every week, and he's gonna have a big presence on the game there. It's just been it's his name at the moment that gets you excited. It's like, oh, Charlie's playing, but there has been no presence, no jumping up at the ball, taking big marks.
Toby gobbled him up yesterday. Found it easy yesterday.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to turn a game on. And that comes down to as well entries inside. Like, it's on his head, over his head. Like, everyone is just panicking, dump kicks. It's the whole system or whatever we are. And I don't know if Sam Doherty and the rest of the team aren't bought into what Michael Voss is saying. But when I found it interesting, there was an interview last week where they interviewed Doherty at halftime against West Coast. And they're like, oh, so how do you guys see yourself going? And his first thing he said was, well, you know, we're a defense first side. So we're always trying to do that first, and then we'll try and reload.
Yeah.
So whether everyone's pissed off that we're all just like, we're having to put so much effort into defense.
Yep.
And then we just clunk it up the field because there is no flair. There's no, when are we breaking you open? We're not.
Yep.
Like, it's super
dropping
frustrating.
120 points or something, or doing what Geelong did to Essendon last week. Like, doesn't really happen. So, red pill, blue pill. You've got a choice right now. Red pill is you keep Michael Voss next year, but you get rid of some of your talent. Say 2 of your top 5 walk away. Charlie, Harry, Walsh, Cripps, Wiedering. You lose 2 of them. But draft picks come in. Jaeger Smith comes in. I heard Cal Toomey say this week, Jaeger Smith would be the number 1 pick with a bullet going into this year's draft. So you're basically getting the number 1 pick to play next year. Or red pill, you keep the talent and you go one more time, but a totally new coach and a new philosophy. What side are you sort of leaning?
I feel you've just got to have faith for one more year with Vossi. I just think that if we got to a prelim, there's something there. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it almost seems like some players are almost like whether they want to be out the door. I don't know. It's a tough question because I actually don't know what the right one is. Whether it is just a shake-up and everyone's refreshed and everyone gets along, or it's like DeConing goes, someone else goes, and we just get a few new people in. We get a few of the young kids to run around, and that's what sparks them. So, yeah, I don't know. I just have faith. We got to a prelim, and I just know what Vossi was like as a player. And, like, there has to be something that says we can get there. But Yeah, I don't know. We're just
I like that reaction. We need to make this a post for sure. See what Carlton supporters' opinions are, because I reckon they'll be 100%. They'll be 50-50 on that. Like, they will not agree, because everyone loves the talent. I think the talent's extremely overrated, but everyone loves that top 5 talent. Is it Vossi's fault or yeah? Anything else you want to cover on? So happy for North Melbourne. They were great. Winning on the MCG on a Saturday, you can't hide from that. So
is it weird that the last time before yesterday, both teams hadn't played on the MCG in 21 years.
21 years. David King got 3 Brownlow votes.
Which is just bizarre. Like, both teams, like North fans, if you're a Melbourne side, you deserve to play on the MCG more often. I know, like, you might not pack it out as much, but the players deserve, like, you're an elite athlete. It's the best stadium in Australia. Like, just, you got to be there. You got to play there. Even just getting off at Richmond and walking across, especially on a day like yesterday, is so much better than walking over to Marvel under the
100%.
Like, it's just a million times better. It feels good.
I'm sure I saw yesterday was Colby McKercher's second game only at the MCG. The second time he's ever played at the G. Like,
that's unbelievable.
Get him on that ground. We want to see him play on the ground.
100%. McGovern for 4 was $21. Zerha for 3 was $4.50. Paul Curtis for 2 was $2. Orazio for 2 was $3.90. Tom Powell had 34. Jev, he was $5.50.
Nice.
George Hewitt for 30 was $2.10. Sheasel for 30 was $2.85. LDU for 30 was $2.90. And Parker for 25 was $3.80.
Oh, Errol, anything, the Showies are back to us. The band's back together. We got the band back together and we played the hits. And the hits were beating Port Adelaide in games that matter. Our first time we're beating Port Adelaide on Adelaide Oval in 10 years to us. 10 years is the first time we're beating them there. And I could see it. I could see it again. We opened them up and we opened a can of whoop ass on them. First of all, I want to shout out Zach Butters. Let me just quickly go look at his first quarter.
Jev, he's
28-1. He had 11 in the first quarter and 10-1 in the second quarter. So he had 21-1 at halftime. He was unbelievable. Like, that exact tenacity on the football and the passion he plays. And he kicked. Have you seen his goal? He just went back and kicked a set shot. 35 out, slide angle. And he just opened the big eyes and he looked at all the boys. He's like, fucking come on. He just got himself hyped. I'm like, you're the fucking man. He's a player every club should be looking at. Not just the 4 clubs we're here at. Every club should be calling about Zach Butters. He is a superstar. He just plays it different. No one plays like him. No one's as tough as him. He's just so good. I saw it with the Swans again. So we won by 19 points. We kicked 9-17 to 7-10. So we kicked 2 more goals and 7 more points. Joel Amati, so we were getting text by our mate Cole telling me how shit Joel Amati is. He took 8 marks inside the forward 50 and went back and had 8 set shots. That is domination. Let me just confirm that. Joel Amati, 0 goals, 6. Yeah, he had 8 marks inside the forward 50 where he went back on Asava Radaglia and had set shots. Didn't kick one, kicked a couple out of the full. I get that. Taking 8 marks and having 8 set shots in a game is domination. The boys were laughing after the game. He kicked 9 straight against Adelaide. Then he basically kicked 0-8 against Port Adelaide. Water found its level. Next time he plays, he'll probably kick 3 goals, 2 or something. Water found its level. Callum Mills was having a laugh. Amadi reckons he's throwing those boots in the bin. So we had no problems winning. We absolutely smashed them. They got Heaneyed again, 29-2. But we also have Amadi kick 0 goals, 8 basically. So we beat him easily and Amadi did. If we lost and Amadi had that game, we'd be like, fucking hell, Amadi cost the game. So it just, I could see it again. We were opening them up. We were getting overlap run. We were finding space on wings and everything to get the ball going. Chad, he was good. He missed a couple of shots. I think he kicked 0-2 in the first quarter. So Chad had a quiet one actually. He had
17 touches.
17 touches and 2 points. He kicked both those points in the first quarter. If that becomes 2 goals, imagine his confidence. But Heaney has 28 and 2. Mills had 27. He had 15. I think he had 18 at halftime. He's starting to get going. He plays that defensive mid-roll. So now you're seeing Heaney and Chad get their game back because Mills is covering him the other way. Grundy has 22, gives whoever he was playing on above. Jordan Sauer got subbed off because he couldn't run with Grundy. Vicentini wasn't too bad. Blakey 22-1, McInerney 22-1, Sheldrick 21 touches. This is the rising tides lift all ships. When we were getting pumped, and I'm like, these role players, it's same as Carlton. These role players are shit house. Now all of a sudden, Errol comes back. Papley, Heaney, the A graders start playing like A graders again, and everyone starts to come with them, and I can see it again. I'm telling you, I can see it again. Amadi was great. Tom McCartan, I know Dean Cox playing Tom McCartan at forward, cost us 2 games at the start of the year. He is having a great season as a fullback, centre back, general. He looks so confident with ball in hand back there. Yeah, that is the Swans I've been waiting for all year, and Errol only has 18 touches, but he's back in the side. He'll be better for the run. Next week, who have we got next week? We've got the Dogs on a Friday night. Errol, and that'll be tough. But anyway, Errol's back. So if we beat the Dogs Friday night, I can see it again. I'm starting to get excited. I think we're too far behind the pack, but you never know. I swear Brisbane were in this situation last year, and they came. So you never know. The team, the band's back together. I'm happy.
As you said, with Mills back in, Cunningham back in, you got McCartan playing like an
all Australian level,
actual proper roll down back. We can finally unhook Blakey again.
Yes.
We can let Blakey run around, which is exactly what we wanted to see. So
did you see the goal he kicked? It was from a centre bounce.
Yeah, mate. That's what we said. We're like, let him. He has to have more free reign to go.
He sets himself up as a defender, but when he gets the ball, he runs forward. Like when he gets the sniff of winning, he's going forward. Have yourself set up as a fucking halfback, but just go forward football. You are unstoppable. You are the best halfback in the comp when you're flying. He's not as good as Nath right now, but yeah.
I like what you said about Butters because I couldn't agree more. Even if you're not in the market for another midfielder, you have to be looking at your books and you have to be thinking, where else are we going to get another midfielder like this? Is there a spot where we can move some money around to get him in the building? He would change any culture, fit into any culture. If you've got
every team needs a bloke that attacks the ball like him.
Well, let's think about other teams you can fit into. If you fit him in the Swans when you have to, congratulations. You can play Heaney more out of the cube. If you want. And then you're
not go play out of the cube because you got Butters attacking the ball to move.
Not losing that magnet. He would fit in perfectly to every single side in the AFL.
Max Holmes, you're the best outside fast midfielder in the comp. Would you like a bloke that puts his head over the ball and handballs it to you so you can use your leg speed? Imagine Bailey Smith, Max Holmes, Zach Butters as you're starting mid round 1 next year. Carlton, Cripps, you look slow. Walsh, you look slow at the moment. Here you go. Butters will get you the fucking ball like everyone. St Kilda, you don't have an A-grade midfielder. Would you like Zach Butters that does it all? He is so good at footy. I didn't even get annoyed at watching him yesterday. I'm like, this is a pleasure to watch. You are a star.
I'll never get annoyed. He's in my top 3 favorite players to watch. Like he's 0 to 10 meters and just he wants a find. Like he literally plays like he'll just push people around. But that's what you got to do. You got to intimidate your players, or like you just know if you're playing on him, he might give you one or run through you, tackle you. Like you have to have that sort of that grunt in you. But the best in this one, Jev, there wasn't too many. It was a bit of a graveyard of a game for odds. Will Hayward kicked 3 at 575. Isaac Heaney for 2 at 250. He would have to be winning your best and fairest by a lot. He's still having a very good year. Butters for a snag at 360. Blakey for a snag at 420. And Heaney, Butters, and Rosie, they all had 25, which is only in the dollars, like $1.60 to $1.90. But Mills, Jev, for 25 was 450 as well. Nice.
So we're going to go now. We're going to go. Dar's got something on. So we're going to cover Collingwood Saints when we get back. We're going to watch the Sunday footy. And then we're going to come back and do the rest. So that is 40 minutes. We absolutely love you guys. Stay tuned for part 2. Let's go. Welcome back to part 2 of the Sunday Roast. We are so back, but we are going back to Saturday night. The Pies beat the Saints by 34 points. I'd love to know your opinion on this game, Darth. Saints had a crack. Pies won. The line was 30.5, so the game went exactly how the bookies went. Windhager went to Dacos. Dacos had 30-1. There was so much going on in this game with the exact outcome everyone predicted, basically.
Yeah, I just got to touch on our man Belly. So he's obviously he's a diehard Saint. So he messaged me throughout the week. He said, "Das, I'm putting this on the record now. Saints come in and Ross just does the job. and we get an upset. And then in the last quarter, he started messaging me. He's like, hey, we're on. I said, mate, it's not a bad shout. I said I was going to screenshot it and put it on our story if it did get up, to say that our man knows the Saints better than anyone. But were you ever concerned for the Pies? There was not one bit in that game where I thought that they weren't going to get it done, and they
Too
just
much
look like,
talent. Too
they just
well
look like a
coached.
team that are playing so. Again, we keep saying it. If you listen to us, they're a team that's in the premiership business. Like,
Yeah.
there's a few teams that are just absolutely ready to go, and when you look at it, I think that was like Darcy Moore was actually attacking the ball. How many, like, he played on a few times once he got it, went straight through the middle of the ground. They used the ball really well. One thing I do want to talk about now, I don't know if I haven't watched any Sunday footy shows or like any like reviews. Obviously, it is Sunday night, but you're watching last night when he's in the middle with Windhager. And obviously, when you're in the middle, it's like, Craig McRae, I just feel he doesn't do anything that he hasn't thought about. So when he keeps coming into the media and saying, look, Nick's going to get tagged, like, we want him to get tagged. And he definitely played into it. There was a few stoppages where if you want your hit zone either like top left or top right, that's when you guys can really run through. Nick was on that first side. So when obviously you want that main part of the pie, he would legit run past behind Darcy Cameron, and you've got like 180 degrees of the pie, and he would tap it straight over to Bo McQuarrie, and he just literally runs straight through. Like, it was like you're a running back and you've just got the best opening gap of all time, like Saquon, and you can just get to run straight through. So I definitely think they're trying to put that on tape as well. Like, Nick would purposely run other ways and be like, all right, if you're going to tag him, you're going to give us the most open hole of all time. So I definitely think they exploited that. This was, I don't know what roast we said this on, but this is in either round 3 or 4 where I'm like, this is exactly where you need to play Bo. Like, he can 100% be a specialist center clearance. It's like when you've got your most explosive, your most strongest athletes, have him in a 4-on-4 situation. Have him in a 1-on-1 as many times as you can. And most of the time, like, they're going to be able to outrun people. When it's in tight, maybe he's not as clean, maybe he's not as polished as the other players. But I really think this is where you can use him. Have him in the center clearance to start a game. And as soon as it goes, and then you put someone else back inside who's actually maybe a little bit cleaner on the inside. But I thought they played the game really well. Windhager, like, worked his ass off. Nick's obviously getting a lot better at trying to get the tags. Pendlebury would jump in a few times and just put in a few bumps to help him out. But yeah, the Pies are a really good side. They played it professionally. I think Membry would be stoked that he obviously got that one on the board. Like, was it up into the third quarter and Bobby Hill hadn't had a touch?
Yeah.
Like, they
his
can
first kick was a shot on goal. Yeah.
And this is where they are as a side. Like, you don't have to rely on everyone to have their best night. Like, if they're losing, and then what are we talking about? Bobby Hill can't get a fucking kick. But winning cures everything. If you're winning and he comes in the end, kicks a couple of goals late, then you're just part of the success, which is what they're doing. So I'm not going to roast the Saints. I thought that I think this is where they're at. And they just need a couple of pieces. The young kid, the Viking, took a couple of nice marks, Jev. So I think Saints fans will be stoked with that. But again, just not enough top-end talent to rock with the Pies.
It shows how good Nick Dacos is. So Rory Sloan cut up some footage on the Sunday footy show.
Did he? Yeah.
Basically, Windhager was, just say he had Nick Dacos on his right arm, tagging him and he's on his right arm. Darcy Cameron was tapping it 1 meter to Windhager's left. And instead of getting the ball, he'd go to Dacos. So then, as you said, Collingwood owned that whole space because he wasn't worried about the ball. He was worried about Dacos. So you think Dacos is just decoying at centre bounces and some clearances, and he still walked off with 30 and 1. Getting tagged. I don't know if you saw, David King put something up after the game. Windhager was kneeing him in the hammies. He was like, as he was following him, he was giving him a big knee into the hammies. He was punching him in the guts. He was holding him off the ball. He was laying on him, everything. He gave him the treatment, and the Collingwood supporters were whinging. But Nick still had 30 and 1, and he was hating it. You could see how angry he was at the first bounce that Windhager went to him, and he just started niggling him. Like, it would suck being that. No, it wouldn't suck being that good, but the old Ablett treatment when Crowley used to pinch him and punch him and step on his feet, and Nick, He's in that like where he's nearly got a tear in his eye. He's that angry and frustrated, and he's just belting Windhager back. And to still walk off with 31, it's like Morg said it the best. It's like he's Nickelback. He plays bangers, and people pretend not to like him. But as soon as you just accept he's the best player in the comp, you're like, you're a freak. Like you're just a gun, and we just need to accept it. He's the best, and it's just so impressive. Under the lid, get tagged by one of the best tags in the comp to walk off with 30-1. Wasn't his best game. No one's saying it's his best game, but yeah, and they just win. Another one. I had dinner with a St Kilda supporter last night as well, and he's like, he showed me this bet. I didn't get on it. The line was 30.5, right? He goes, go to margins and go Collingwood to win between 21 and 40 points was paying 370. He's like, just load up on that. The Saints will have a crack under the lid. Pies will get it done. And the line was 30. They won by 34. And that between 21 and 40 it just felt like the freest cash. Of course, I didn't get on it, but he's like, I do it every weekend. You pick a couple of games that you just think will play to the line, and then you bet within a 20-point margin of that. Yeah, it's like today, the Dogs game. What did the final margin end up? Like 50-something points. I think the line was 49.5 for the game. Like that ended up just a little bit bigger than the line. Just happens so often. So anyway, that's another thing. So I don't want to roast the Saints either. Jack Higgins needs to find some form. But the Saints are just, I like the Flying Viking. I like this kid. It was good to watch at Taru. Toby's going to be a player. They've got guys. Wilkie had a crack. Mason Wood was really good. Jack Higgins didn't get a kick. Brad Hill let him down as usual. But they're just lacking so much. They're a Zach Merritt and a Zach Butters away from playing in a prelim, basically. So you got some odds for us?
Yeah, how much is this a Collingwood masterclass? They've had 11 goal scorers. No one kicked over 2 goals. Like that is their bread and butter. So the best odds of this game, we had Mason Wood, Morgs' man, for 3 snags was $11. Tim Membry for 2 was $2.20. Darcy Cameron for 2 was $9.50. Is he just the All-Australian ruckman?
Oh, he's close. He was very good.
Dan Butler for 2 was $3.90. Darcy Wilson for 2 was $8.50. Jamie Elliott was short. Lipinski for 2 was $8. Nas for 35 was $5. Nick and Josh Dacos both had 30 on the dot. Nick was 275. Josh was 260. So obviously they're assuming he's going to get more because Nick's getting tagged. And Lipinski for 25 was $6. So Lipinski for a 2-25 game was pretty juicy. But the Pies win a couple more games, Jev. They're clear. They're not losing second spot, so they're not losing a home final.
Yeah.
Like
they're
3 more
in a prelim at the G. We're going to speak about this right at the end of the pod. I've got my 4 prelim final weekends teams locked in. Like, I know who I think is going to be prelim, so I can't wait to find out yours. Let's move on to the game of the absolute round. This was a banger, a multis heaven. This game lived up to everything. 205 point score. This was like a Gold Coast game in Darwin, Das. Gold Coast kicked 4 goals won before the Giants had touched the footy. They absolutely jumped them. Like they had 3 goals before there was 2 minutes of game clock gone. It was crazy. They jumped him. Jed Walter missed a goal. I knew it at the time that goal was going to come back and haunt them. I know it was the quarter time siren. He missed a goal from 10 metres out directly in front. Have you seen how he walked in and just leant on it? It was the worst set shot I've ever seen.
Unbelievable. It's like all technique just goes out the window sometimes. It's like just come in, have the same routine, just come out and just punch it through. And
he'll learn so much from that. That's one of those ones, you make that mistake, it gets shown on tape. Now he'll treat every set shot, whether it's 2 metres out, 20 metres out, 50 metres out. He'll do the exact same routine every time.
I want to know what you thought of, let's say Tom Green's game. Would you say it's his best game for the year?
Nah, he's had some better games than that, but he was really good. He was very good.
So this is where, if we look at, for anyone that didn't watch, this literally looks like just a head-to-head job when you look at it on paper.
It was.
And Anderson, unbelievable, 42-2. Tuke Miller, 37-2. Matt Rao had 34 touches. So these guys are going head-to-head. Is there, if we just get a little bit less out of Tom Green, a little bit less out of Finn Callaghan, are we putting it away? Or is it like, do we just have to maybe park the absolute, let's just go head-to-head and fly each other the other way? Because I know
Actually,
they've had some games, when they versed Adelaide at home and they got it done that game. And that was a shootout and that was awesome. But now they just let them get back in. And yes, I know they're playing their own game, but it's like, where are we putting that magnet to and who else are we really trying to eliminate from this game? It's like, if it's like when Carlton versus Swans, it's the best example I've got. Don't get beaten by what you know. Yeah. Don't let Heaney, don't let Warner get off the chain. So if we know that their midfield starts to get potent and then they start moving the ball really well, then we know that their inside 50s are going to be easier for Cadman and Hogan. Then they're going to start to get into it. And then they're smalls and then Stringer gets into it. Like, is there a time you think that they really need to start clamping down, or who would you put as that player to be an absolute neutralizer?
Well, I've got this tattooed on me, Das. It's my favorite saying. It's a saying I invented. Coaching wins games, systems win premierships, right? Coaches win games, system wins Let me say it again because I fucked it. Coaches win games, systems win premierships.
Yes.
When the Giants were 5 goals down, they didn't change a thing. When they were 5 goals up, they didn't change a thing. They just backed their gameplay. They were 20, I think they were 29 points down at one stage. They just backed their system in the whole time and just tiny tweaks, like maybe a couple of numbers around the ball. They never clamped Anderson. They never clamped Rao. They just backed Green and Finn to get it done. And they did. They just got it in their forward line eventually. And Cadman finally got onto it. Toby finally got onto it, got himself into the game. Riccardi, Brown, Hogan, Stringer came on the field after Whitfield. They just backed their system in. This is why, I refuse to quit on them for the premiership, because you can have bad losses in a season when Ross Lyon rocks up and he just stops your system completely. He's like, righto, when GWS play their best, Green does this, Toby Green does this, and Whitfield flies off the half-back line. We're going to tag all three. But Collingwood don't do that. You got to have a system to win a premiership. You think when Collingwood play their best, they don't worry about what the opposition team's doing. They worry about Collingwood. So this is why it was so impressive to what GWS did today, and why I refuse to quit on them for the premiership, because they just rocked up, got it done. They didn't worry when they were 5 goals down. They got it done. No Sam Taylor, Whitfield out early. Defense was a bit leaky. Didn't matter. They were so good. To be fair, Tommy Green, I know I said it wasn't his best game season. He had 16 clearances. I don't know if he'll get the 3 votes. He'll go close. He was so good. Then he went and sat full forward, took a mark, kicked the goal. You see his goal where he double balked and stuff. Everything about him. Beautiful. He was great today. Another one.
So I wanted to ask. So I was driving home for a little bit of this game. I've been out today, but I had on the radio and had it over. What can we do? So last year we were talking about Mac Andrews, give him the contract, whatever he wants. He can go forward. He kicked the goal against Essendon to win the game, their first game outside of home last year. I saw him at Marvel go against Charlie 1-on-1 and just had that matchup. 4 touches today, no impact.
Yeah,
he's last year he was able to be that floating person where he could just come through, intercept, go. And he was your absolute wild card. Where do we need this person? Do we need him forward of the ball, back of the ball? Because he reads it better than anyone. He's more athletic than anyone. Let's go. Barely an impact this year.
He's on his James Sicily shit, isn't he? He's doing a James Sicily. He's actually good at nothing right now. He's not good at playing on a man. He's not good at playing loose. He's not good at going forward. It's like he's confused what his role is. It's the exact same as James Sicily. I was so impressed with Aaron Cadman because I couldn't believe it. The Suns
4 weeks in a row, all year. He's been awesome. The
Suns put Sam Collins on Aaron Cadman, Mac Andrew on Jesse Hogan. So I'm cooking, meal prepping, and I've got it on my phone and I'm listening. And they go, oh, Mac Andrew's gone to Jesse Hogan. I drop everything and I go try and bet on Jesse Hogan for 3, 4, 5 the first. I'm like, if they're putting Mac Andrew and Jesse Hogan, could have a day. Kept him to 2. Jesse was relatively quiet. But what Cadman did on Sam Collins was so impressive. Yeah. Kick 3, missed an easy one for his 4th. Still doing it. Surely... I just think Andrews, Cadman, similar matchups. Tall, lean, athletic. Collins, Hogan, 2 bears in the square, big bodies, wrestle each other all day. They didn't do that. The Suns got 95% of the game right today. They just didn't get the win, and they couldn't stop the talent of G-Dubs' forward line in the last quarter. They kicked 8 goals in the last quarter, Das. It was Hogan 2, It was Stringer 2, Tobes kick 2. They just couldn't stop them. Callum Brown kick 1, Riccardi kick 1, Cadman kick 1. They just could not stop them.
This is going to be a tough review for him because like this game, like they had it.
They're out of the 8 now.
You said 95%, but is this not a game where it's like he's a club that's never played finals and he's a club that's batted deep a few times and played finals? Because when you've done it a few times, you understand. And they did it last week against Brisbane. This is exactly what they did. Backs against the wall. They're in for the fight, and then they pushed out hard. And the reason why you have to back this side in is what was the one thing that absolutely derailed their entire season last year? A come from behind win against the Swans and a come from behind win against Brisbane. Yeah. And you're goddamn, like, you're absolutely kidding yourself if that was not the number one thing that they worked on in the offseason is we're going to be one of the best 4-quarter sides in the AFL. As long as you don't get blown out the first quarter, even if you do, the second quarter, that's fine. Third quarter, as long as you're thereabouts, you're in for the fight. If you're getting blown out in the last quarter and you get run over, you're not going to win many games. But if you've got that ability to push through games, have the belief and put your head over it and just get a run on, you could see when Stringer kicked that goal, the first one, everyone was up and about. Yeah. Everyone's just like, here we go. Whether it's fake intensity, but you just need to manifest it and you have to get everyone in behind you because they were going. Then when he kicked the second one, everyone was getting like Darcy Jones like jumped on his head. He's like, let's go. Like this is what we need. So it's definitely not manufactured and they've spoken about it. And you tweeted about it before and we spoke about it 2 weeks ago, which is so funny. The fact that David King has put a line through him and now he's got to double down. Do you think this week he retracts it?
Nah. He's already said he'll double down. He said on 5 on Friday, like he has to have his opinion right, so he's going to keep doubling down. I can't. I'm texting him first thing tomorrow morning.
Yeah, do it.
I'm back on Toby Green Tuesdays this week, Das. I've got the time. I can find out, so I'm back. So we got any. If you want to comment on this, I know no one watches this show on YouTube or DM us if you listen. Anything you want me to ask Tobes, and I'll ask him because I'm back on this week. Das, our group chat, just one of our small group chats, always argues. So the Shark and Stenny give me shit because I think Sarong's a bit overrated. Then they always ask, who would you rather, Sarong or Anderson? My answer this week was Anderson has a higher ceiling. Sarong probably has a higher floor. Sarong never really has dead set shockers, but like when Anderson plays well, it is like A++. So they bagged me on the other day. They asked that question when Sarong had 35-2. When Essendon, injured Essendon side, rocked up to Freo off a 5-day break. Sarong has 35-2. Good on you. He does it every time he plays at Optus. Anderson goes to GWS today and has 42-2 and was just unbelievable. He tried his ass off to get them over the line. He just couldn't do it. So, yeah, this was like game of the round. 200 points scored. This is everything you want in footy. It was a multi-heaven. We hit 240-1 multis today.
Hey. You retract that word, my friend. This is all you. So usually we always get on the phone before every like Saturday game or Thursday, Friday, Saturday or Sunday. So Jev, I'm not taking any fucking credit for this. Jev, ladies and gentlemen, went to work. When he says we, this is 100% him. Usually if I was involved in this, I'd be like, yes, but I was not in this. Jev just pretty much sent us all the bet slips and said, boys, we're going to have a go today. So, Jev, you take 100% credit for this. I'll take the cash in the pocket because we got a joint account, but this is all you, my friend.
Yeah, we hit 240-1. So we said on the pod, the touches in this game felt free.
Yeah.
I sent in the Discord, I said, all overs in the 5-25, and
Stiff.
Lockie Whitfield gets injured on 4 touches, no void at PointsBet. If you got any feedback for PointsBet, comment that as well. Because we started sending to our guy PointsBet and he said, keep sending it. Yep. I'll send it to higher above. Let's figure out this PointsBet thing, whether you want void injuries, you want your money back, or they're starting to float some other ideas. So we hit one, Tom Green 30, Anderson 30, Callahan 25, Rao 25, then Sam Darcy 3, Ed Richards 25-1. That was $40. Then we hit another one, Cadman 2, Callum Brown 2, Green 30, Anderson 25, Callahan 25, Rao 25. That was 40-1. We hit them both. And there was a stage, we had one at 300-1. that was a Jed Walter goal.
From the goal
away.
square?
It was $10 into 3.1K for a Jed Walter goal. So when he missed that goal, I'm like, he's just cost us $3,000. It had Josh Kelly for 20, Dan Rioli for 20. Josh Kelly had 18, Dan Rioli had 19. But I dead set thought Jed Walter was going to cost $3,000, and he's a mate of ours. Anyway, the odds in this game are unbelievable, Darcy.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear this.
So sit back and listen to this. So Cadman for 3 was $4.40.
That's good.
These are the 2 goal kickers. Humphrey was $4.40.
Nice.
Ben King was $1.30. Jake Riccardi was $2.85. Noah Anderson was $9. Ben Ainsworth was $4.75. Callum Brown was $3.10. Jesse Hogan was $1.30. Toby Green was $2.20.
Nice.
Took Miller was $7. If you had all of them to kick to, paid 50,000 to 1. 42,500 to 1, basically. 50,000 to 1. Then how's these for some singles? Toby Bedford was $3.10. Jared Witts was $3.25. Dan Rioli was $3.25. Harvey Thomas was $2.25. Braden Fiorini was $3.40. And Tom Green was $3.25. If you had all them to kick singles, it was 800 to 1 for just 6 guys to kick singles. We say this every week. Noah Anderson for 40 was $23. I don't know how I wasn't on that. I thought it was going to hit. Took Miller for 35 was 15 to 1. Matt Rao for 30 was 5 to 1. Lockie Ash for 30 was $2.15. And Tom Green was $1.74. It's good to see Sam Flanders back. He had 29 touches. For 25, he was $9. And our man Bailey Humphrey was $3.20 for 20. So he had 20 and 2 goals, 3. The bear nearly had a huge day, Darcy.
Yeah, he did. Mate, that is... And that's why, honestly, you're more likely to hit someone, a single goal kicker for $3.
A midfielder kick a single goal. I said it earlier as well. Ashcroft, and Hugh McCluggage all kicked a goal at $3.25. They were all paying $3.25. And then today, Tom Green kicked one at $3.25. Noah Anderson kicked 2 at 9 to 1. We've
Honestly,
got it needs to become a 100K staple. On Sundays, you take a midfielder in each game.
Well, if you're doing a $3 bet, so we used to do our 3x3. So you get $3.30 legs, stack them together, that's $3. You're more likely to just hit a single goal scorer than you picking 3 midfielders at $1.30 for 20 touches or 25
100%.
touches. Just take your single goal kickers and just put them in. Single, go for your life. But with the Giants, so where are they currently on the ladder? As we sit 7th.
I think they're all on 32 points, aren't they? All those teams.
Nah.
Oh, they're on 36. So GWS and Gold Coast are on 32. They're on 36 with the Hawks, Freo, and GWS and Adelaide. So they're equal 4th, you can say. They're on the same points as Adelaide.
When you look at the 8, I know we're going to touch on it after the next game. That just looks like the 8, doesn't it?
Oh, geez, you want Gold Coast in there, though. I'd worry if I'm Hawthorn. I just don't rate the Hawks. But Gold Coast they can't crumble again, can they? They've been in this situation so many times.
No, I think they do.
Oh, God. I'm going to have a look. We'll have to look at their fixture.
They had to win today. They had to win that one. Like, if you're up in that situation, you got to take a scalp here and there. But yeah,
you do. You do. They were home. That Jed Walter, he kicks that goal. They nearly win that game. They go like 34 points up if he kicked that.
All right, Jev, on the next one. This game
went exactly how he thought it would.
Yeah, if we said Bont finally comes back, dominates, Darcy kicks 5, they win, they kick another score of over 120 under the lid, and they just they just do what they do. So yes. I'm excited to get into the final bit where you've got your prelim final, but we were just talking before we recorded again, and I don't know what happened in the off season, but it looks like Sam Darcy is a foot taller.
He's just taller.
You know when you play like a wrestling game or FIFA, you get the attributes. It's like they've just made his height taller, him stronger, and just like dominance. Like they've just put that all the way up.
Character. Like, I'll build this stupid character that doesn't belong in the game. That's what he looks like in real life. I tweeted it. He is the competition's #1 draft pick. If the whole competition's standing in front of you, I think he goes pick 1. I think Nick Dacos goes pick 2. He is like the highest stock in the game. I'm telling you, Tassie would give up 10 first rounders for him. I know you don't believe me. If I was Tassie, I would give up 10 first rounders for him.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's gone down to 9 or 8.
I think you had it at 8 last time, but I reckon
8. They would give up 8 first rounders.
I think you've upped it to 10.
No, if I said 8 last time, and I know you were like 8, no, they would do it. You would give up 8 first rounders.
If they only get one first rounder a year,
yeah.
if that's what you're saying, they're giving up their next decade worth of first round picks.
No, because you can say that. That's the old Nick Wright used to have this theory on Aaron Rodgers. Would you give up that? Let's say Pat Mahomes. I don't even know why I'm saying this. Would you give up a first rounder every year Pat Mahomes plays for your franchise? So let's
take it in footy perspective. So if you get one first rounder every year, only one.
Yeah.
So Tassie giving up their first round high-end draft pick every year for the next decade.
That he plays on their list. Yeah, but Tassie are getting 6 every year for their first 3 years.
But that's
6
what I mean.
first round.
So if you're getting 6, then 100% you dish off one of the kids. But if you've only got one every year.
Would you, if you were Carlton?
No. So if you're Tassie and you've only got one first rounder every year.
No, because they'd have to build the team first.
That's what I mean. That's what last week when I was saying, I'm like, you're not giving up 8 years worth of high-end picks for that's why if he goes down, like you're fucked. So you don't have if you've only got one per year.
Yeah.
How many are you giving up?
Not
4?
So
you don't get a first round pick.
It'd have to be 4 and some players.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. So now we're in a conversation.
If you've only got one per year.
Yeah, you only got one per year. That's all. You're not giving up 10 years worth of your only first round fucking draft picks.
So anyway, how many weeks in a row was Bont not in the coach's vote? I swear it was like 8 weeks or 7 weeks saying. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to have 35 and 3 just to remind you guys, hey, I'm still the guy. It's like when people bag me for having him second or first on the pyramid, I'm like, trust me. I don't care how bad a form he is. He's the best player in the comp. Like,
I think with the pyramid as well and the committee. So it's like, yes, your name still means a bit, but also if you take these guys out to battle on grand final day and you're drafting, who you take? Well, you want Sam Darcy there with you. You'd want you're drafting Nick Dacos second. So even if he has a few quiet games. Like I want him there. I definitely want Bont there.
Bont third, for sure.
Yeah, you know these guys, and that's where pyramid integrity comes into it. Yes, your form's a little bit up and down, but it's like when the whips are cracking, if you're there grand final day and essentially you're drafting, who are you picking from? It's like
that's the only flaw in my pyramid is the key defenders part of it. Because the best key defender changes all the time. Harris Andrews, Sam Taylor, Jacob Wiedering, like Jeremy McGovern, prime Jeremy McGovern. And I don't have any in the pyramid because none of them play consistently like a top 21. When you say it that way and you're drafting grand final day, like Sam Taylor would probably go on the top 10 picks. Like a fit, healthy Jacob Wiedering at his best, or Harris Andrews would probably go in the top 15 picks. Oh, God.
Yeah, but I don't know. You'd be surprised when you got all the players above you. You'd still probably pick a heap of the midfielders. So this is one thing I want to touch on, Jev. It's definitely not a roast. But at the start of the year, when we did our preseason predictions, and then we did Dark Horse All-Australian for each team. And I'm like, I'm not sure what he's going to – like he's going to have to play lights out. But is there a chance that Nick Vlastuin gets one more All-Australian?
I hope so.
He's having a fucking good year, Jev.
Oh, he's so good.
He's having a
the
fucking
Swans tagged him. Like he's a back pocket. And we tagged him with James Jordan. Like he's a good player.
He played well today. 28 touches. Matt Kennedy finally didn't kick a goal.
Yeah, I know.
He had 25 though. He's still having a good season. How high would he be up in their best and fairest?
Yeah, he'd be right up there.
Top 3?
Ed Richards would be up there. Sam Darcy's never been on my pyramid, Dust. How high does he debut? I could put him anywhere and no one's going to argue.
Wherever you want him.
Yeah, wherever I want him. What else am I going to say? Ed Richards gets 25, wins 25 and 1 as usual, wins multis. Cooper Hines, my man, lives on my street. Kick 2. He's finally starting to look like an AFL player. It was his 5th game. He didn't start as a sub today. He looked great. He looked lean. He looked good. Tom Lynch was belting blokes. Did you see him give Tim English a big ear massage? Tim English went back and Lynch just came. He's the biggest 90s footballer. He plays like Dermot Brereton used to. He's the old school 90s footballer. He just belts blokes. He's slow as a wet week.
Oh, so for anyone that didn't see your tweet as well, we were discussing when the game's on. Do you think Noah Bolter wishes his curfew was earlier so he didn't have to play on Sam Darcy today? Like, the amount of times he's like, I'm getting made look like a fucking idiot out here.
Oh.
Like, honestly, what was more embarrassing, when he had to front up to court and then talk to the media, or when he had to line up on Sam Darcy?
Oh,
Like,
he would
what do you reckon was more embarrassing for him?
It would have been that cold in Marvel Stadium. He would have rather been on his curfew, sitting at home with Uber Eats on the way, having a wine by the fire. Because Sam Darcy was giving him a bath. Is there anything else you want to touch on this game? You want some odds?
Nah, yeah, odds for us.
Sam Darcy for 5 was $5.25. Tom Lynch for 3, $4.50. Bont for 3 was $5. Lockie McNeil was $3 for 2. Riley West for 2 was $1.80. Cooper Hines for 2 was $8.50. Tim English for 2 was $8.50.
Mm-hmm.
Bont for 35 was $13. So what's 13 times 5? 26.
What's 12 times 60 something?
It's like 90 to 1 basically for Bont's game. To add the dogs to win, you would have got 100 to 1. Bont 35 and 3 and add dogs to win 100 to 1.
You would have a brave man to bet on that though.
Nick Vlosten for 25 was $4.75. Tim Taranto for 25 was $1.70. Richards for 25 was $1.50. Libba was $1.50. Kennedy was $1.60. Sam Davidson for 25 was $16.
The doctor.
And Bailey Williams was about $3 for 25. So there was some good money there.
Beautiful.
It was just good to see Bont back. That's the first time. Sam Darcy and Bont, they're both fit now. They're both not injured. Like, this is them at 100%. It's going to get scary. So now I want to get to I've got my 4 teams locked into prelim weekend.
Are we going to do it now, or you want to save for hook, line, and sinker? Do you want people to tune into that? Because we've almost gone an hour and a half for here.
All right, done. You got to tune into Hook, Line and Sinker to get my 4 prelim teams and Darcy's 4 prelim teams. And we're going to go through Gold Coast fixture to see if they make the 8. Thank you for listening to Sunday Roast. You know where to find us at 100K Sports, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram. Like, subscribe. Darcy, give them a word to comment if they made it to the end of the show.
Jev's left toe.
Oh, see you guys.
What are you prepared to lose today? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.